Guys, welcome to Naija Live TV, and you know I'm your host, the Ayo of Yentown. And today, I'm not here alone. I'm here with somebody I would like to describe as my Achalugo.
Yeah.
She's a beautiful person,
Ah.
melanin popping.
Oh wow.
So many good things you find in a woman you see in her.
Okay.
So I would like to introduce to you gracious Fenana.
All right, gracious friend. Thank you, Aya. Well, today on the program, we're actually taking a look at parenting styles and effect on children. And my legs are even shaking right now. I actually didn't want to do this because yes, our guest is my boss. I mean, I'm like one of our first mentees when it comes to emceeing. But hey, she would say, "Gracious, you are not serious." That's what she always say. But yes, it's an honor to actually have her here in the studio. Now, this is a renowned broadcast journalist and MC. She's the owner of the mic. We are trying to beg her, ma, please, can you give us more? That's what we've been doing. I beg, just give us more to hold. That's what we are doing. And it's an honor to really have her here at Naija Live TV. Her name, she's going to do the other introduction because she used to say that her name is very long. Her name is Taribio Walson Oweifawari. Good afternoon.
Taribio, Sita, Tomo Adasegbebo, Ere Walson, Nelson, Nakuboye Jungle, Oweifawari.
Jesus.
That's the longest.
Can you
call
put it in paper?
No way.
No, I'm not sure.
Even if she
So
does.
most times when I'm on stage, I just tell people call me Tari,
Taribio.
Especially when I'm outside by Elsa State. It's
Okay.
easier.
The topic we have today is parenting style and
Okay.
its effects in children. So the first question I would like you to talk about, or I would like to ask you, is how can you describe what a parenting style is?
Parenting style is the method you use in raising children.
Okay.
There are different methods in raising children.
Okay.
If you're looking at when we were younger,
Yeah.
they believed in corporal punishment most times.
All right.
So we can say it's a disciplinary method of raising children. But these days you have soft parenting.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So we have parents who believe in the punishment part, discipline, that's physically disciplining a child.
Yeah.
Then we have those who believe in soft parenting. Then we have those who are trying to strike a balance between both. So those are the types of parents.
From these ones that you just highlighted, I mean, which of them you personally, which of these parenting patterns you highlighted that do you use in trying to bring up your own kids?
I'm one of those that are trying to strike a balance.
Okay.
I was raised with the disciplined way of raising a child, which means including corporal punishment, flogging, or should I say caning. And with my children, I try to strike a balance. It doesn't mean I don't whip out my cane once in a while, but it's rare. Reason being, I try to reason with them. I try to put myself in their shoes when I'm raising them. I know the kind of things that made me rebel as a child. So I try to prevent same, knowing full well that these are my children.
Yeah.
So if I know this is what used to trigger my rebellion, I try to avoid that with my children. That way, I can say that I raised my children better in the sense that there were so many things I did as a child that my children are not doing right now because I decided to strike a balance.
Okay.
So you say you're using both the discipline and then the soft parenting kind.
Yes.
But in today's world, I mean, we're trying to. A lot of persons will say that, oh, back in the day, our parents will always say, back in our time, it was not like this, it wasn't like that. So I need you to help us to actually unpack if the parenting style of this day, if it was, how would you rate it in terms of you trying to
Compared to
back in the day and now?
I'm going to say these days. I'm afraid for the next generation in the sense that we have some parents who are afraid to discipline their children when it calls for it. Now, I'm not saying maltreating a child, there's a difference. But there are ways you should checkmate your child. I move around town
Okay.
And I go to a sitting place and I see teenagers unchaperoned, unsupervised.
Okay.
I don't know how it applies in the rest of the world, but here in Nigeria, it is not normal for young teenagers. I'm not
yes.
talking of those who are getting to 19, 18. I'm talking of those who are younger, 13, 14, to see them in a fast food joint or different hangouts, unchaperoned, unsupervised. There's no adult supervision around them,
Yeah.
which means you don't know what these children do. And I tend to wonder who is responsible for these children. Because if you lay down the law, if you raise your children in a certain way, they will follow that way. I'm not saying some children don't rebel, but I can tell you for a fact that most of the times you have children rebelling is when you use too much harsh punishment.
Okay.
So children tend to rebel if the punishment is too harsh because they chalk it down to no be beaten.
Okay.
They'll beat me now, then they do what they want. Or when a child has decided there's something else wrong with the child apart from the physical one. If not, normally, if you teach your children by example, when we were growing up,
Yeah.
when they were using the disciplinary method
I
of
wanted to
raising
ask you that
children, it was do what I say.
Yes.
Now, if you want to effectively parent, it has to be do what I do.
Okay.
That's the best way to get children to behave. Do what I do. I'll be in the vehicle and my children will pick up some words, harsh words, curse words, and they say it and I ask them, why are you using that word? They'll say, can't you see the person? I said, but you have seen me several situations where people, what they did, I should have exploded, used wrong words. But have you ever heard me cursing?
Yeah.
When you're with me in the vehicle? They say no. So it is easier to correct a child when you can use an example that you live by. It's just like a parent who drinks excessively, telling his children not to drink.
Okay.
You are saying they should not drink, but you drink. You are saying they should not smoke, but you smoke. Now, the danger in doing something and telling your children something else is they will not only do what you do, they will do far more than what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because children are sponges. As they absorb, they get to a point where they are more curious and they do more. That's why you see, unfortunately, we still have children whose parents were smokers and they don't smoke, but then the percentage are far and few in between. Majority will pick up the habit from their parents and they will upscale that habit. Where the parents stopped with cigarettes, they will go to Igbo or weed or marijuana.
Yeah.
And then they increase from there. And addiction has a way of running away from you. When you master a particular stage, the brain tells you that this is no longer working. You need a higher level to get the feeling you used to get when you started this other one. So I always tell people this era of parenting is do what I do.
Okay.
It is the most effective.
Okay. So Ma, you like you said, the if we should compare the then days parenting to now, like you said, the then days parenting is do what I say, and now is do what I do. But when you come to these present days now, you see that there are more of immoralities from the teenagers. Is it that the do what I do is not really okay with that? Is the parenting style is not really okay?
Now, this is where you're not getting it exactly as I said it.
Okay.
When I say do what I do, if I'm a morally loose woman, I have no moral justification to tell my children to be chaste.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Children do what they see, what they are exposed to.
Okay.
In raising my kids, I tell people I live my life to emulate what I teach my children. I raised my children telling them that it is fitting to preserve yourself. It doesn't matter the sex.
Okay.
I do not believe in raising a girl to be morally chaste while you have your son sowing his wild oats,
Yeah.
whose daughter do you expect him to experiment with?
Mm.
So whatever is good for the goose is good for the gander. So when I'm raising my children, I tell both sexes that you both need to preserve yourself. Sexual immorality is not gender specific. That is why we see girls who go haywire and we see boys who do same. So for a parent, for you to tell your child to be chaste, you have to be seen living the same lifestyle. And let me tell you, children know you can't hide things from them, especially mothers. They have access to our phones. Let me shock you. Recently, I checked a laptop that I was no longer using. I'd given it to my third child, who is my second son,
Okay.
just to discover that my Facebook was open on that laptop and he had access to all my DMs.
Whoa.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just discovered that like 3 days ago. I had to now sign out. And this laptop, mind you, has been with this boy since, when did I get that laptop? It's been over a year.
Oh my God.
So he has been
Seen your
reading
chats.
my DMs without my knowing. Now you can imagine some kind of things that he will be exposed to if I was a mother
Yeah.
who was living dual lives.
Yeah,
If I was
yeah,
telling them do this and I was doing something else.
Something else.
Now, my son was telling me, I can see the men that are chasing you on Facebook. And when he said it was, I said, how do you know that? He said, I'm seeing your message. I'm reading it. And I see your reply, that you're replying. Now, if not that I had been living the same life I have been telling them, I will have an issue. Because they'll say, but you're not
You're living
doing
a double
what...
standard.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
double standard. I had to log him out because when he's 15, it's going on 16 by April. He has no business reading my messages,
Yeah.
which I cautioned him on, that it was an invasion of my privacy. And guess what he told me? That you finally understand how we feel when you keep snooping into our phones. So now you understand how we feel, that
Yeah.
you are also invading our privacy. Then I told him, I'm not invading your privacy. I'm your parent. It is my job to snoop. It is my job to ensure that you are exposed to the right content. When you are out of my house and you're an adult, you can afford to do what you want to do. But as a parent, as a hands-on parent, you cannot afford to not know what is going on in the lives of your children.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you actually mentioned earlier that that it is good for you to do balancing. I mean, some parents might really not really get it clearly because, like he mentioned, these days you see kids that ordinarily you'd be asking yourself, I mean, who is bringing this one up? So, what do you think? What should be the best way? I mean, for parents to have relationship with their kids, or a parent to have relationship with their kids, or words, what should be the best way?
The best time to have a relationship with your child is as soon as they are born.
Okay.
I was able to get to the point with my children where they tell me practically anything,
Okay, yeah.
especially my
Fantastic.
daughter,
Yeah.
including things I'm not comfortable hearing. You know, as a parent, their thoughts
Yeah.
that you don't want to hear,
From
they
your
tell
kids.
they tell me their thoughts, including the thoughts they have.
Wow.
And I had to master the art of listening to their thoughts and not being judgmental. And instead, most times, if the thoughts they give me is something I'm grappling with, I give myself time.
Okay.
I sleep over it, and then I come back and I talk to them about this mindset and this perception. Most people will be shocked what I know about my children, including those who maybe have said things to them that I laugh with and I smile with. They don't know because I respect my children to an extent. Now, if my child tells me, right from when my daughter was in secondary school, she's in the university now.
Yeah.
If they tell me something that involves another person, I ask them, how do you want to handle it? They tell me, and I ask, do you want me
To comment.
to handle this? In some occasions, they'll say, no, I can handle it. I say, okay, go and handle it. And give me feedback. If it moves beyond this, I'll come. The reason why I do that is because if a child tells you something
Mm.
and you immediately jump
React.
up,
React to it.
confrontational, there's a way the child feels and the child won't tell you again. You have to be diplomatic when you handle things,
Yeah.
especially when you think someone is offending your child. You have to be diplomatic. You watch how you tell them how to handle it. Watch how they handle it. And then if it gets to a point where you need to intervene, you intervene. Now, what that does is it gives the child confidence. They are not always running to mommy
Yeah.
for situations that they should handle themselves. It's the same thing with the relationship we have with God. Now, some people are using that same method with God. You have an issue, you immediately run to God to handle it. And God is looking at you and saying, but you can do this. You have to be able to differentiate with, okay, this I can handle, but this only God can handle.
Yeah.
That is why God will not answer your prayer when it is something he has given you the capacity to answer. The same way, what I know my children can handle and they are running to me to handle, I'm not going to do that. I will just give you pointers and tell you, go back and handle it. That's the way to build confidence in children.
But again, also, thank you so much. I mean, if I get you clearly from what you've just said now, that, trying to, the best pattern, the best method to, bring up your kids, I mean, to have relationship with your kids is to be their friend, is to be a friend to...
Now, you see that be a friend?
Mhm.
I don't tell them to be a parent when you need to be a parent.
Okay.
You cannot be a total friend to your child.
Yeah.
Reason being, you stop being an authority figure if you are too friendly. They say familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah.
Even while you are friendly with your children, you have to maintain some sort of authority. Like yesterday, I asked my daughter, who will be 18 in March, to do something. And she grumbled, as usual with teenagers. So I told her, you can exercise your will. Even God gives us the free will to exercise our will. But remember that while you are under my roof and being fed by me, your will does not prevail. It is my will that prevails. When you leave my house, you can be bigger than me. But under my roof, I will laugh with you and play with you, but my will prevails. So I have a son who will be almost 20 years old. He's in the university. He cannot leave my house without permission. Yes. And if he has to go out to visit, he cannot stay out later than 6 p.m. That's my rule. My house, my rules.
Okay.
In my house, you can't, the moment you stay beyond 6 p.m., know that you have forfeited your right to move out. I'm the one paying the bills.
Are they comfortable with these policies?
Yeah, they are. I made
But-
the home comfortable
But
for
you don't
them.
mind
them.
if he's in school, you don't mind if he stay out like till 12 till 1.
I'm not omniscient.
Okay.
So
I
you
don't
won't-
know
you
what
won't
goes
even-
on in school.
Okay.
And for the sake of my sanity, I'm not going to be bothering myself about what is happening in the university. I should be confident enough that I have done a good job
Yeah.
and that they will continue with the way I have raised them in school. Let me tell you the thing about raising children a certain way. No matter how they fall, they can't fall too far. I have seen children who, by virtue of association, got into even drug abuse and different things. But you can still tell the distinction from a child who comes from a good home and one who was left to his own devices. No matter how they fall, they cannot fall to the extent where they are hopeless. That is why, as a parent, you have to do your part.
Yeah.
If the children grow up and they decide to deviate, your conscience will bear you witness that you have done something. Part of what helped me as a child was because I was raised in Assemblies of God. My mother, till she passed on, was a deaconess in Assemblies of God. Now, no matter how rebellious I became and no matter the youthful exuberance that entered my head, I never did certain things. Why? Because of my background, because of the way I was raised. It is easy for me now. I've been divorced for almost 4 years and I've been celibate. Not because I just decided to. It is because of the upbringing I have.
Yeah.
Because of the way I was raised, it is easy for me to maintain it. And because I have children, I am teaching to live a moral lifestyle. I have to show that lifestyle to them. That's why no matter the advances I get, I tell people it's bigger than me. It is not my will, because the flesh is weak. If it is my will, it is easy for me to change my will. But when it is bigger than you, you can't change it. So when you raise children right, it now becomes bigger than them.
Okay.
No matter how they fall, they cannot fall to a hopeless state.
Okay.
I mean, for like you just said that, oh, no matter how they fall, they cannot fall to a hopeless state. What if you, at the end of the day, all of these measures you put in place are really not working, and then you see a kid after trying to give them the good upbringing, and then you see them go outside and live.
One of the most heartbreaking thing that can happen to a parent, apart from losing a child, is they shouldn't be hanging to your coattails if you have done a good job when they become adults. I was having a conversation with my first son today, and I was telling him that as a first child, you might not want the responsibility of having the younger ones look up to you, but it is not in your power to make that choice. One, because you were born first, which means you have to set the pace for others to follow. If you decide to make mistakes, the others will not follow you in your mistakes. Hopefully, they will chart their own course. But what happens is, it can be so depressing for the person involved when, as the first, you look at your younger ones and you look like the failure. I'm not talking of in terms of wealth. Because wealth is not a true definition of who is impactful per se. Because the younger one might be richer, but it doesn't mean the first one is not thriving, is not excelling in their own field or career. Except somebody is measuring how much they have in the bank. So what I'm saying is, as a first child, you have to set the mark where even when your younger ones look, you're not going to them cap in hand. So I tell every parent that speaks to me, I say, one, show your children what it means to be a responsible parent. You cannot be an irresponsible parent trying to raise responsible children. We have cases like that where God is so merciful that you see parents that have no business raising children, and the children come out fantastic. In those cases are not the norm. They are far and few in between. The ideal situation is parents living by example, raising their children by example. That is why when I see certain things parents do online, I'm concerned for the children they are raising. Because if a parent is twerking on social media in their underwear, you need to be concerned about the children they are raising.
And it's a trend now.
Is a trend
It's a
because
trend
of
now.
monetization.
It's a trend now.
People no longer know how to strike a balance of having visibility and also maintaining decorum. They don't know how to strike that balance. So for what I will say, that if you have done your part raising your children and they decide to deviate, find Coke or any soft drink and drink and tell yourself you have tried. You can't kill yourself.
So Ma, you mentioned something about divorce, which makes me want to ask this question now. And we have been seeing some debates, let me call it debates, on social media about single parents, maybe single father, single mother. So I want to ask, does being a single parent, do you think it is more difficult raising a child being a single parent, or when you both are together as husband and wife?
I would tell you, certainly it is easier to raise children in a double parent home, in a complete home where you have the father and the mother. It is far easier to raise children. Now, but it is better to raise a child in a single home that is peaceful and stable than to raise a child in a toxic two-parent home. it causes more damage to the child. You are raising damaged humans if they are in a toxic home. It is better to have a single home where there is peace and the children can grow up under a calm environment than to have two parents, because you are saying and let it not look like it's a broken home, and then you keep children in a toxic environment. I'm going to tell you that if you check the statistics of damaged human beings, you have more damaged human beings raised in a two-parent home than you have
in a single
parent home. One of the things that single parenting teaches you is being extra cautious. One, because the decks are stacked against you and your children. The society is already expecting you to fail in parenting the child. The children also have these decks stacked against them. The society is expecting them to turn out wayward or raising criminals. So for those children, you can see that majority of them, we can point out so many successful people who were raised by single parents. Reason being, they know that society is already expecting them to fail, and so they decided to prove them wrong.
They work them.
But what are the downsides of raising a child as a single parents?
The downsides is not for the case of the mother. When it comes to discipline, somehow the fathers automatically do it better when it comes to authority figure, because the way the home is set, for me as a Christian, the way the home is set is the father as the head, supported by the mother, and then the children. So there is this sort of authority figure that the father brings. So even when the mother tells a child to do something and she is repeating it 5 times, the father can say it once and it is automatically done. So that is an advantage in raising children, because you know that where you are finding it difficult, the other person is there to help you in establishing discipline in the home. But when you are doing it alone with the children, you have to work extra hard. And that is where living a certain lifestyle comes in. As once you are a single mother, the onus is on you to live a life that your children can emulate, especially in your relations with partners. You have no business turning your home into a revolving door of strange men coming in and out.
You
understand what I'm saying? Because the children are watching you. Part of the reason why I live the way I live is because I know I'm raising children. Apart from the fact that I have a relationship with God and He won't let me do certain things. But I also know that I need to be able to advise my children without my conscience telling me, that thing that you are saying. You understand what I'm saying? So when I tell them something, I can say it boldly to them because I live it and they know I live it. So it's harder to raise children as a single parent than when you have a partner, because even the Bible says that one will chase 1,000 and 2 will put 10,000 to flight. And if a threefold cord is not easily broken, if you bring just one broom, you can break it. If you bring the entire broom pack, you can't break it. That's how it is when 2 parents are raising a child. It is easier. That is the way nature planned it. But if for any reason you are raising children alone, you have to be conscious of the fact that you are the Bible. For those who are Christian, you are the Bible your children will be reading. You are the moral compass your children will be using in navigating society. So the onus is on you to lay a proper foundation for those children.
But between a single father and a single mother, say the table turns and separation or divorce happens, so the kids have to live with one person, who would you say that can bring up kids better?
Raising children is a sacrifice, especially if the children are little. As a parent, when you're raising those children, there are certain things you cannot do. Even your freedom is curtailed to a large extent. So whichever parent is willing to give up their social life, for those who maybe used to have friends they hang out with and all that, you have to be willing to make a huge sacrifice. I have seen good single fathers as well as good single mothers. So I will not say, oh, a man should not raise the children alone, or a woman. It depends on who is able to do it, who is willing to do it, and who is very responsible when it comes to taking care of the children. For some, it will be the father.
Oh wow.
As sad as it might be to say it, for some, it will be the father. The fathers will raise the children better for some. Because when you look at the woman, you know this woman does not have a head. So it is better to have the father take care of those children.
The mother or the woman in the house will say, the father know the house, or na papa know the house, this, that. Then we have also seen a case whereby the father takes all the responsibility to the mother. So who should be more responsible in raising a child when the both parents are together?
It is a collective responsibility.
Okay.
Both parents have equal responsibility. The child does not belong to one person. They came together and made children. These children, mind you, did not ask to be born. As long as you are capable of fathering or mothering a child, you are responsible for that child 100%. Both parents are supposed to bring 100%. We turned it to this dichotomy where fathers can afford to be absent while the mothers do all the rearing of the children. And then when a child misbehaves, you attribute it to the mother. When the child excels, you attribute it to the father. Both parents are responsible for raising the children. It is not left for one person.
Sometimes they'll say the father is always out
Outside,
working, trying to make ends meet in the family.
Well, in most cases now we have both parents working
that, right?
and contributing financially. So if you have a wife, even if your wife is a stay-at-home mom, there is a certain authority that a father brings into the home that should not be left for the mother to do.
As my just bring us to almost the end of the program. Now, we now live in a social media age where kids have access to the internet and all. What do you think is the best way to handle kids in terms of using the social media? We have certain countries today like Canada, I think Australia as well, trying to ban the use of social media for kids, and because they felt like parents are not doing what they ought to do, what they are supposed to do. So what do you think it should be the best way for kids, for parents, or a parent to allow their kids or what to use on how to use the social media?
For social media, you have to decide the age as a parent that you want them. What I used to do, because my children loved YouTube growing up. So at one point I put restriction. That's Google has a method where they checkmate children who are below a certain age. So you can't access certain part of Google, YouTube. Sorry, YouTube had a way of checkmating children. So I had installed that for a phone so that my daughter couldn't watch anything above certain level. Even at that, I used to still check on it. And by the time she got to that age, it was 13. By the time you got to 13, Google will remove the restriction and allow them to watch anything. I say, no, you guys cannot tell me what to do in my house. I will rather reduce the age of my child so that they will be under that restriction till they are 15, 16. Because you can't tell me that my child is old enough to watch certain things at 13. If you check most of the restriction for children now, there is barely any restriction at all, what they are exposed to. So for me, my children, it was when they were about to enter higher institution, they began to check social media. But all my kids are still not on Facebook. All of them, including the one that will be 20. I have 2 in the university.
They're not on Facebook?
They are not on Facebook.
Wow.
They just started using TikTok. They were on YouTube.
Okay.
They just started using TikTok. According to my daughter, their Facebook is for old people.
Oh, wow. So the best way would be setting your restrictions.
So if you can see that certain apps are more the younger generation friendly
Yeah.
than the other apps. You have more elderly people on Facebook
Yeah.
than you do on TikTok and which other one? Snapchat. I still don't do
Instagram
Snapchat.
and
So
all that.
Instagram, you have them checking Instagram. But then what I tell parents is when they are growing up, check what they read, what they watch, censor it, and make sure that your voice is louder. Because they will be exposed to different things, no matter how strict you are, because they mingle with other children whose parents are not careful like you. They will one way or the other pick up things. But make sure your voice is louder
than their friends.
And whatever they are picking up, because they will interact.
Yeah.
You do your job doesn't mean the other parent is doing their job. So make sure whatever the other parent failed to do that their children are displaying, make sure your voice louder.
Okay. So we're talking about social media. Let's take it home with this question. Talking about social media, like you said, children, they are not this social media freak like others, but you see a case whereby the younger ones are very addicted to this social media, and because of this monetization issue, you even see their parents advising. I don't want to call names because of celebrities and all that. I don't want anybody to tag us. Yes. But you see some younger ones using this medium to become rich and also giving to their parents. So even if their content is more of explicit content, you see their parents, even most times they even partner with them to do a video. So what will you say about those parents that push their children to
when people come from a position of lack and poverty, even your morality can be eroded. As a parent, I will never approve any money that has to debase my child, that my child has to lose their morality. I will not support it. Now, for those parents, because they turned their children to breadwinners, they have no choice.
Yes.
You know, even in the society, when you see younger generation doing all sorts of things and moving around, because they give their parents the money, the parents can't speak. You lose your edge as a parent when your child starts to feed you. You have a child who is not up to 18 and the child is feeding you. You lose the moral justification to caution that child because you are reaping the proceeds of their debauchery or whatever it is that they are doing.
Okay.
The same thing goes for Yahoo. You find parents not being able to stop their children from going into internet fraud because they eat from the proceeds. These parents' hands are tied. They are in untenable situations because they have to survive. They are surviving through their children.
Okay.
So for cases like that, even if I say they should stop, they won't stop because that is how they feed. Am I going to feed them?
No.
The best I can do is tell them what you're doing is wrong and you should look for a more modest way of making money. But I can't force them to take that path.
Concluded words in terms of advising parents and also maybe kids as well in their upbringing.
For the parents, I would say learn to strike a balance between being a friend to your child and authority figure to your child. Learn to strike the balance. Being the friend to an extent where they are comfortable telling you things, especially things that are detrimental to their well-being, that they can confide in you. Be that kind of friend they can confide in. But at the same time, know when to exert your authority so that they remember that you are the parent.
Okay.
Then for the children, I'm going to tell them that for everyone you admire that is doing well in a chosen field or career, they worked hard for it. There is no free lunch anywhere.
Yeah.
And no cause. I tell my children this, no career and no cause is more lucrative or this one is bad, because we have universities where we have situations where people are saying, no, don't read this course. I told them, even a mechanic is a good profession.
Yeah.
For every profession, we have those who are excelling and those who are failing.
Okay.
The difference is, are you excelling in that field? So always pick a field that you know you have comparative advantage in, and then work as if you know nothing or you're not gifted in that field. That is what will set you apart from others.
Thank you so much. A voice and the face of the one and only voice of the mic, Taribio, Walson, Oweifawari. I really want to appreciate you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
Ma. Yeah,
Please,
appreciate
if
it.
you wanted
Thank
more
you
of
so
your
much.
face on this brand. And yes, please, your daughter, your girl Gracious, is still very humble, ma. Let me do it on live TV. Please, I'm still very humble. I need you to carry me, hold me by the hand as well.
I'm humble too. Me too, I'm humble.
Hold me by the hand and say, great, show me road. I beg, teach me this thing. Teach me, make up for the carry millions as well.
Guys,
Alright.
thank you guys for watching. Wait for the next episode. I want to appreciate you, ma, for coming.
Thank you.
And I want to also appreciate my Achalu. So thank you guys. And don't forget, we are open for sponsorship, Abi.
Yes,
Partnership,
so, yes.
adverts.
Yeah.
I beg you. Thank you
so
guys.
much.